Welcome back to the Hive Gallery. I'm Super B with the Hive O'Clock News. It is my privilege and my honor to speak with the one, the only. She's got two big teeth in front. It's Lady Beaver.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Good to see you all.
Great to see you. I've
Yeah.
never seen you in quite this grandeur before. I mean, I've seen many manifestations of Lady Beaver.
Why, thank you so much. Might I say you are looking divine yourself.
I feel very covered. I can say that. I feel very covered. But you, this is an artist who has been with the gallery since how long?
2016 also. I heard you say that.
2016.
Yeah,
So we're
like
all
the
classmates.
I
Class of
know.
2016. That's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
But this is an artist who works in many media, and I'm talking about music, fashion. She's got 2D, she's got 3D. What did you start off with, and how have you already transmogrified since you've been here in these 4 brief, quick, amazing years?
Well, I have to say the themed shows at the Hive have really pushed me a lot because when you have kind of a monthly homework assignment, it really pushes you out of your comfort zone to do things that you wouldn't normally do on your own.
Yes, and a deadline to make you
And
get
a
there.
deadline, exactly. And then also the artists here at the Hive are so amazing and inspiring, and so just working with a bunch of other creative people really lights a fire up under your ass. And it's really fun. You know, we really encourage each other and push each other, and we have a really fun kind of demented bee family here, which is fantastic. That I was looking for years before I found this place. So.
For real. And you know, as much as there is influence and cross-influence on the representational art or the non-representational art that we do, there's also, I feel like, this undercurrent or maybe overcurrent of performance art that seems to get more and more
Oh yeah.
prominent. Like I felt that since being here. I think that is definitely the case with you.
Oh, I'm so inspired by your performance art. It's the best. It's so
the
fun.
pollen flows both ways,
Yeah,
baby.
it's freaking amazing.
Your number one medium though is still pretty much like you do like a paint, but your application is different that I hadn't heard of before. What was the?
Yeah, so I paint with paint markers.
So it's actually a paint. It's a canister of paint that it has. Like, how is it?
Yeah, so the paint that I use now is acrylic based. I use mostly acrylic based, but 10 years ago that didn't exist. You could only, if you went to Blick Art Supply, you could only get enamel based paint pens.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like oil paint, and they were really tough to work with. If you got your hand on the canvas, like in the paint, it was just tough. It was hard to wash off your hand. It made a mess. You'd have to wait for it to kind of dry to paint over it again.
Really like kind of arm's length to be able to stay, and not screw it up.
And then like, I want to say 7-ish years ago, then the acrylic ones came out. It was a complete game changer. And now there's so many different brands that are out that you can get, and they have all different colors. I love the acrylic Montana brand, and actually they sell empty paint pens and the paint separately, so you can actually mix your own colors.
Okay, that's good.
Also.
Yeah, so you're not like, and also you can reuse those canister or the.
Yeah, you can actually buy replacement nibs for the pens.
Oh,
You don't need to replace the pen every time like it gets clogged. You just put it in your nib, and the nibs are like 5 to 7 cents a piece. You know. So yeah, they're great. I actually went to school for printmaking. These are my prints up here on the stuffed animals, and up here too.
So you're printing on a cloth and then you sew to make a three-dimensional.
Yeah, so these little dolls were screen printed actually, and then that up there is printed off of a giant wood block. It was actually a 4 by 8 foot wood block, but I just printed a section of it and cut it out.
So you're doing these, including the screen printing, on your own? You're doing your own printing? Or
I did those when I was in school, and then I did this big woodcut with the help of a friend actually. He helped me spoon print it onto the fabric.
because you gotta apply pressure because it's not paper, it's this cloth. You have to like continuously make sure it gets to the ink zone.
Exactly, and that was off of a really big wood block. So that's why I think I may have printed that one by myself, but like, because I could only print small sections on my own. It's crazy when you get so big. If you don't have a press to print that big, you have to rely on
Yes.
the printmaking is very community-based art in that way.
Yeah.
It really does require a lot of assistance to
But
get your prints made.
I'm glad to know that I guess I wasn't aware of that option, because I'm thinking, oh, well, there's just one way to do it. It has to be a press. But the fact that you can do that, I mean, now I can see it, but I hadn't thought of that, and that's really a nice option to be able to deploy. It's really hands-on now, because
Yeah.
you're intimately covering every contour to make sure it's gonna.
Yeah, you literally take a wooden spoon and go in a circular motion for a long time.
But do you find that you have
Several
control
passes.
to where, like, oh, I want to get just a little bit more ink, so I'm going to spend more time on it. I'm going to be a lighter touch over here.
It depends on your printing material, because if you have paper, then yeah, you pretty much can. What you would do is like, you have kind of like bricks on top holding it down.
Oh, okay, so it's not going to
And so
shift.
you-
Yeah.
Right, and so you kind of move one and check.
Oh, okay.
But if you're printing on fabric, you cannot lift it up and put it back down. It will not go in the same spot, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Because the
yeah.
fabric
That's a
stretches.
good point.
But you can see the ink through the fabric a little bit while you're printing.
Absolutely. And then does it have to be ironed, or how do you kind of solidify that to make it?
I got a steamer. I steamed
That kind of
everything.
bakes it on there.
Yeah,
and
because,
makes it-
well, the steamer, I would have to take out the wrinkles from the fabric before I printed it. You know, but those things are old now. I made that in 2013.
All right then.
So that was like, I made that right before I moved to LA. And that was like my jumping off point to moving to LA actually was, I did an artist residency at Exhibit S in the downtown plaza in Sacramento.
Oh,
And it was my first time since art school working with a community of artists where we all pushed each other and it was super fun, but there's only 6 of us. You know, here at the Hive, there's at least 50 resident artists.
I don't know how
So
many do we have nowadays?
Over 40.
we have over 40 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so,
I want to ask you about
yeah.
the now omnipresent two-legged bee butt stinger.
Oh yeah,
Record.
Anita Beacock is her name.
Okay, and it's I say omnipresent for advisedly for a reason, because this enamel pin I'm a proud owner of one, and
Anita
also
Peacock?
Yes, Anita
Beacock.
Beacock.
And she is two-dimensional, and she is three-dimensional, or maybe 2.5 dimensional, and then she's mobile. So how did she come to be?
So, you know, it's funny, she started out as a background character, and I used to do, or I still do sometimes, these environments, like even this painting behind you is kind of like that, but I would put a bunch of characters in a location. So like, for example, I had a bunch of characters partying at a club, like Studio 54 type settings, stuff like that. So anyway, I did a lino cut print, and she was just a small little character in the background. But I loved her. I was like, what is this bee with human legs?
She's dynamic.
It's channeling Rocky Horror for sure.
I feel that.
With the boots, with the come out at the end with all their sexy outfits, you know, like.
Yeah.
So, and she also is. She's a rags to riches story where she starts off. Is small, like a small town girl, like doesn't have control of her life, and then basically takes the reins, takes control, and becomes a sexy badass queen.
So she's like just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took
Yes.
the midnight train going anywhere, I think you could probably
Yeah.
say. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
2
that
guy
might be
bees
the
were
case.
there, and they actually, what happened was she found out the queen of her society was dead.
Oh no.
And her whole bee society was gonna completely go extinct, but she became the new queen.
And that's because of her name, or maybe it's descriptive of her art, because that's how she became.
Well, it's because the queen bee is the town slut and sleeps with all the guy
I
bees.
see.
So,
I
Anita
see.
Peacock.
Um,
And fun fact, we've talked about this before, but when bees have sex, the male bee's penis gets stuck in the queen and then rips out when they ejaculate
all right,
and kills them.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. This is a personal thing. I'm a reformed drone. I don't want to make this interview about me, but I have nightmares about that.
I'm sorry to spark on that trauma.
Yeah, it's
I'm so
difficult.
sorry.
It's difficult because it's a visceral thing because of the fact that viscera comes out, and it's difficult. So yes, I appreciate the character art, but I may have to have a little alone time and just try to recover from this, it's traumatic. It's a traumatic thing.
Yeah,
I guess that's the birds and the bees.
I can imagine. I apologize.
Well, no, nothing to
Touchy
apologize
subject.
for. I just wanted to, expose that vulnerability to you, to show you that I'm connected, and also to ask you one final question.
Yes.
How do you get those front teeth so white?
Oh, I floss every night. I go to the dentist every 6 months. I do my, I went 2 years one time without getting my teeth
Yes.
cleaned, and then when I did finally go back to the dentist, I had to do a deep clean.
Oh.
And if you've ever had to do that, oh my God, they have to numb half your mouth and like get in there. Yeah, it sucks. Like
I think all the wood that you chew on would probably wear down.
I
on
think,
the-
yeah.
it's the wood actually helps clean your teeth. The more wood, the better. I love wood.
That's true. So this
Oh yeah, she
this
loves it.
beaver,
love it.
this is a beaver who flosses and likes to get wood.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I do. I'm full of wood.
And if you don't know by now, we're going to tell you right now, Lady Beaver
There we go, I got my
is a dance
word.
sensation. And she doesn't stop even now when we're interviewing. She is always dancing, and she's got dance videos that are beyond your ability to count.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes. I do performance art and I live stream from my Facebook every single day, actually since October 19th.
And in addition to that, she does full production music videos where she writes the song, she performs the music, and she goes to Sedona, she goes to Sacramento, she goes to anywhere you can think of that needs to get that song concept out. She does it. Lady Beaver, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I love you so much. I love you guys. Thank you at home for supporting the arts. You're amazing.